Well, when you think the Eagles don't make any moves, they do. And the Philadelphia Eagles just made a move the other day for a certain player that used to play in Philadelphia, which I'm going to talk about a couple things, a little bit of drama, and a cornerback that's really working his tail off, looking real fluid on tape right now, and can't wait to see him in training camp. So let's get straight into all the news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's having a fantastic day. So, holy crap, guys, like, a few more days left. We are counting down. Now, the days aren't getting slower. I feel like they're getting a little faster now with training camp right around the corner. Get through this weekend, I think on Tuesday, if I'm saying the right date here, we will have training camp, so excited for it. Now, the Eagles, when we think that they're not going to make any moves and what they're doing here, and it looks like the Eagles added to the offensive line, and a former player that used to play here back in 2012 that was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in 2012 is the Undertaker himself, Dennis Kelee. Okay, Dennis Kelee was a 5th-round pick in 2012 by the Eagles. Jeff Stoughton, I think, was here at the time. I think he was here at the time when they drafted him. Dennis Kelee has been to a few teams throughout his career. He's been to the Green Bay Packers. He's been to the Colts. He's been to the Titans. I think the last team he was on was the Colts for a couple years, and could play multiple positions. Could play left tackle, right tackle, and could play guard as well if needed. Now, to say he plays guard very well, I'm not really sure. I have to look back at a lot of tape because I obviously haven't watched him in a long time. But I know when it comes to left tackle, right tackle, he could play either or of those positions. Now, this is even more interesting now because now you have, this is probably the most versatile group I've seen offensive lineman wise. I'm not just saying it to pump it up. Like, I'm actually saying the versatility that you have with some of these offensive linemen. You have tylersteen that can play left tackle, right tackle, and has the physicality to play right guard. You have obviously Cam Jurgens that can play center and right guard. Then you have you lost Dillard. Obviously, you lost Dillard in free agency. They weren't going to pay him or pick up that option for $12 million. That wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? You have Jack Driscoll that could play right guard, right tackle, but mostly he is a right guard. I don't think he play right tackle that well anymore as he used to when he first got here. I don't know what happened. But you have a very good group. And another one, too, from the undrafted pool that we ended up getting was Trevor Reed, I think his name is, from Louisville. He's another guy that had over 300 pass blocking attempts last year with Louisville, and he only gave up 3 sacks. So when it comes down to Jeff Stoughton and what he's going to do with some of these guys, like I said, I have full trust in Jeff Stoughton, what he does with this offensive line. So I was so happy when Jeff Stoughton got that. I almost went into this offseason forgetting that Jeff Stoughton, like, his contract was up. And I was like, man, what are we going to do? And then I forgot about it for a while because we were covering the draft and free agency and all that great stuff. And then finally got that extension. So I was really happy for Jeff Stoughton's going to be around for a good amount of time, and because it's going to be very hard to fill those shoes. The number one offensive lineman, the number one offensive line coach is going in the league is going to not only make these starters even better, but what he's done with some of these players like Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, that was supposed to be a starting center for us, moved to left guard. I mean, it's absolutely nuts right now with these offensive linemen. So Dennis Kelee is 33 years old. He is an old vet. Okay, so as a backup, I have no issue with it. Okay, has to come in for a couple games. I'm perfectly fine with it. Now, I did forget the snaps for Dennis Kelee. I forgot what he played more of, left or right tackle. I'm thinking right tackle, but I could be wrong. But he's played both positions a lot, and he's played guard. So, like I said, most versatile group I've seen in offensive linemen in a while. And the more you know as an offensive lineman, the more positions you can play, the more value you're going to have. But just because you know the positions, can you play all of them well? That's going to be how much worth you're going to have. You know what I mean? So Dennis Kelee is a fantastic signing. I have no issue with it. This just guarantees more depth, more veteran presence, and obviously hasn't been here in a long time. It's been years since he's played with the Eagles. So coming back home, I wonder how he feels. And welcome back home. That's all I can say for Dennis Kelee. So that was the news on Dennis Kelee, and they made a good signing. And now there's three open roster spots. There's still 3 more left. And what else are the Eagles going to do? They are not done yet. I'm telling you right now, this is just the start of what's to come, okay? Pause. But that's the news on Dennis Kelee. Fantastic. Couldn't complain about it anymore. Secondly, Kelee Ringo, he's working his tail off. There were some videos that came out the other day on him. Looks real fluid. I think one thing not Kelee Ringo, Kelee Ringo, sorry. I always say his name wrong as well. Kelee Ringo has issues with turning his hips at the right time. Okay, I think that's been like one of his problems in college a little bit as a cornerback. And he's got the athletic traits. He's got the versatility. Got the athletic traits. He's very quick. And if you watch some of the video here, I didn't want to get copyrighted for it, so I just took some shots of it. But just looked really smooth out there, turning his legs to his hips. Just very smooth transition. And I think it's going to be really good competition. I'm really excited to see what Kelee Ringo brings to the table. To see him in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform and just compete with the other guys, because the corner room is obviously we have a lot of competition in that room right now. OTAs, we saw a lot of Zech McPherson and Josh Jobe really getting a lot of reps. We'll see once they get full pads on, and then really that's when the real competition starts. Be nice to see if we could see the next nickel corner. I think most importantly, I really want to see someone that, in case Avonte Maddox gets hurt, you know what I mean? That's another thing that kind of messed us up last year, because Josiah Scott, I don't want to get into another Josiah Scott situation again, okay? I think we can all agree with that. And, he got hurt 2 times. Thank God we got in the playoffs and got to the Super Bowl, because he probably wouldn't have came back if we had a bad record. He wouldn't have came back the second time. So you want to make sure you find a nickel corner and obviously see what you have for the future. You know what I mean? I think that's really important. God forbid Slay goes down, knock on wood, or Bradbury goes down, knock on wood. Someone's got to step up. It's next man up mentality, and I think there's some dogs in this room that could take the mantle for a few games and see how they develop. Getting thrown into the fire is not a bad thing during the season if needed. You know what I mean? If someone needs to come in for a few plays or a game or a few games, whatever the case may be. But Kelee Ringo is definitely to keep an eye on in camp, especially other guys like Eli Ricks, some of the undrafted guys that I'm very excited for as well. So working his tail off, doing a good job, and a few more days away till we see him compete. Not going to be in full pads immediately, so we have to obviously keep that into account as well. But doesn't mean they can't be tested. Iron sharpens iron. What a great offense these guys are going to have to face. I want to see Kelee Ringo on Devontae Smith or on A.J. Brown or something like that. See what these guys can do. Let these kids fight it out. I think it's going to be awesome. So that's the news on Kelee Ringo. The last thing, which you're probably going to click off this video regardless, because it's about Chauncey Johnson. Yes, I know it's been circulating all over the place. So obviously Chauncey Johnson, I didn't want to do the video for copyright reasons, so that's why I just have a picture of it, and obviously I'll read the quote from it as well from Twitter. Chauncey Johnson was on his Twitch channel, I think, and he was streaming Grand Theft Auto 5. And somebody sent him a super chat or sent him a donation to answer this question. It says, the guy paid $5 to ask what is his least and most favorite thing about Philly is. Okay, so Chauncey was just like, I don't think he wanted to answer it. I think this was a baitable question to see what he would say. And Chauncey said, the people, they're effing obnoxious. I effing can't wait. Can't stand the effers. I know, I just can't. YouTube, you know how it is. So he said, the people, they're effing obnoxious. I effing can't stand the effers. So, I don't know who he's hung out with in Philadelphia. He doesn't walk around town, or he wasn't walking around town. The people, is he talking about the fans? I don't know. I'm just, it's almost comical at this point, how just how much he's been really just going after Philadelphia. I think what became obnoxious to him were the fans after he made his decision to sign with Detroit. I think a lot of Eagles fans go on his pages every time he puts out a tweet, and they always have something to say. And there's good ones like wish you were coming back. There's guys, there's fans like that, which is great. And then there's other ones where they're just like, oh, you're not going to do anything over there. Like there's people just talking a lot of crap, I don't know what his problem is. I really don't. And you know what? I was really upset when they didn't re-sign him. But after finding out the information that we did with his agent and how, he took the lesser deal than going to Philadelphia, but, I understand both sides because Howie Roseman's contract, what was it, like a 3-year, $22 million deal? And it was such a backloaded contract, which it was a stupid contract. It was a Howie contract. It was like, we'll give you $3 million this year, we'll give you $3 million next year, and we'll give you $21 million. You know what I mean? For your last year. That probably he was never going to see because you gave up 2 draft picks for him. That's what really annoyed me the most, when you gave up 2 draft picks for Chauncey. And honestly, the Eagles were ready to sign him. They were ready. They literally had the contract ready first day, and Chauncey just stalled. He just stalled because he thought teams were looking at Chauncey more as a cornerback than a safety. Really, I mean that's how they were looking. He played 1 year of safety, and teams weren't looking at him as a safety. And he wanted to get paid Justin Reed type money. That's what he wanted. He wanted that type of safety money. A lot of safeties didn't get paid that much. There were probably 1 or 2 safeties that got paid a lot of money, and other than that, it was down to like, I don't know, 12, 13 a year. I don't know how much it was, but he wasn't getting paid top dollar at safety, and the Eagles couldn't wait more than one day of free agency. So obviously, if the Eagles signed Chauncey, they probably wouldn't have been able to sign Bradbury, most likely, or maybe they would. I don't know, but from the money standpoint, probably not. I'm not really sure. But really, ever since then, he's just been, just talking about the fans and talking about this and that, and like he defends us when it comes to the Super Bowl and stuff like that, like the tweets about the field and all this stuff. But hey, it's just comical at this point. I don't know like what his issue is. You know what, guys? This is why I say this. This is why you have to draft well. Draft homegrown talent, because homegrown talent is going to stay on this team for the long run. Not every type of homegrown talent is going to stay. Not every player you draft is going to stay here their whole career. But the good players, I'm not saying Chauncey's not good because he is good, okay? Those players are going to be with you forever. Devontae Smith, he will be here forever. He will be a Philadelphia Eagle for the rest of his career. Guys like that, he's not homegrown Philly. He's not a homegrown draft pick. He's not homegrown. He wasn't drafted in Philadelphia. There's no loyalty. Even though there's no loyalty in sports, it's very rare, and the Eagles kind of have that right now and have taken advantage of that because, the players believe in what they're doing between the culture, Nick Sirianni, and obviously what they're putting together here in Philadelphia, the golden age of Philadelphia, of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And like I said, like he's not a homegrown talent, so he's just those guys. I thought at the end of last season he was so on board of re-signing and getting something done as fast and as soon as possible, but we were wrong. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm on Chauncey's side for some things, and I'm on Howie's side for some things. It just depends how you look at it. I see both sides and why both were kind of like, I get it, the contract. Chauncey kind of waiting out because he valued himself a lot more, and I totally respect that out of the offseason. So it's just taking these hits, against Philadelphia is just kind of ridiculous, because I don't. He had a very good year last year, and he didn't cause any turmoil. There wasn't any drama. I'm not saying he doesn't like the players or anything. I think him and the players are very close still to this day. But when it comes to the fans, and ever since he left, I mean, I wish we were facing Detroit this year. I really do. And, he's only on a 1-year deal over there anyway. So we'll see what happens for the time being. But it's just getting annoying. I know I was kind of rambling for a little bit, but He's really turned me off really since he left, and the things that he's done. Like if he just walked away and didn't say a word or just said thank you Philly, blah blah blah. I don't even know if he even said thank you to like Philadelphia. Maybe when he signed with Detroit he did, like just to say it. But I never felt a welcome good, a warm goodbye from him. Wish I could have stayed. Something, just some just being a human for a minute. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. is, but everybody's been talking about it the last day, so I kind of wanted to go over that. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. So obviously a signing that adds more depth to the offensive line with Dennis Kelly. So excited about that. Beyond. I mean, that's just a fantastic signing. Also, we talked about Kelee Ringo and what he's been doing this offseason, how fluid he looks. If you can find this video on Twitter, definitely look at it because he's looking real quick out there, which is great. Can't wait till full pads get on. And obviously talking about the Chauncey situation, which that's why I left it last in this video, because it's the most careless thing that we should care about, but it is what it is. And if you last this long in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well for more Eagles content every day. Once camp hits on Tuesday, we will be covering every single day. These videos are going to be long for training camp because we are going to cover every depth chart, what we've seen, the catches, the drops, the intercept, whatever the case may be, the coverages, corners, and wide receiver drills, whatever the case may be. With all of that, I'll be covering all of that every single day. So definitely subscribe if you guys have it. And other than that, you guys have a fantastic day and enjoy your weekend that's coming up. And I'll see you on the next one. Chicks, what up? Follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.